Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. So it's that time of week again. It's our usual Friday night live. I hope everyone's okay. I hope life's treating you all well. Let's see who comes in for a chat. So it's been another crazy, hectic week. Let's turn that on to mute. Every week it catches me out. Sorry about this, people. There we go. It's on mute. So yeah, it's been another crazy, hectic week. Just trying to get through work, trying to get through everything that life throws at you. Hopefully I'll get some time in. Now the days are starting to get longer, so it's much. It feels like you're getting a bit more daylight in to a bit more time to spend in the garden, a bit more time to do a little bit of work in the garden, prepping it. Did you see my video from last week? The amount of work I've got to do in the garden is just absolutely crazy. Every day I keep thinking I'm going to start building that compost pile because once I get the compost framing done, at least I can clear a lot of the mess. But because I want to video it and because I want to make it into how do you say, into a good video for you guys, it's always quite hard because I'm trying to video it in a way where it's hard to get myself and my wife free at the same time. So because my wife does all the videoing, so it's hard to get us both free at the same time where we can spend a good chunk of time on it. So it's not getting any progress because we can't both be free at the same time. And like tomorrow, we've got our Meanwood market. So where instead of getting time in the garden, I'm going to be in Meanwood market, and that's going to take most of my day. Uh, Hopefully when I get back, it'll still be daylight, or it'll be enough daylight for us to do a little bit of work in the garden and maybe get a video ready for Sunday. But otherwise, I haven't got a video filmed yet for this week. Maybe I'll film something on Sunday and get it released during the week. But I'm gonna try and get more videos out and more regularly again. Life's just got in the way, and um, yeah, life's just been getting in the way, and things are just eating up all my time. So we've got a good few people popping in onto YouTube. As usual, we're streaming on YouTube and on TikTok, so whichever platform you prefer. Mimi Susu's coming in and saying, Happy Friday. I hope you're well. Joan, how are you doing? Thanks very much for coming in. Michelle Sleaford, hope you're keeping well. Margaret, Ben, hope you're all good. Thanks all for coming in. Um, how are you? I need to watch your latest video, Michelle. I'm all right. I'm all right. You, there is something going on. I don't know if I should talk about it or not. Um, yeah. I don't know. Let's see. But yeah, I'm all right. There's lots of work to do. There's lots of work to do. You have tons of work to do, but it's going to be beautiful when you're all done. It will be good when it. The thing is, the end product is nice, but I'm someone who actually likes the process. So just like when it comes to growing as well, I like doing the planting, I like doing the growing, and it's the harvesting that I'm not very good at. So if I didn't have my mum picking all the vegetables and picking all the fruit and stuff, a lot of the time things would just go to waste because I like doing the growing and I don't get around to harvesting it. But that tells you about a lot of projects. I tend to start a lot of projects. I just never end up finishing them all complete to fruition. Um, Kopek, what? Assalamu alaikum. Hope you're keeping well. Toss Stones joining us from New Zealand. Hope you're good. Thanks very much for coming in. So people popping in and out on TikTok. Hope everyone's good on there. Um, so 4 giant redwoods have sprouted. Someone, someone, someone. Do you know? I planted a couple of apple trees outside, and someone suggested I plant a giant redwood. Was it? It wasn't you by any chance, was it? um, but yeah, I mean, how big would a giant redwood get? Oh, it was. Okay, 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 okay. So yeah, I mean, um, how I'd love a giant redwood around here. I'd go and plant one in the local woods. Let a giant redwood grow in the local woods. See how big we can get it. That'd be quite nice. So a meter a year, 80 or so meters at least. That's massive. No wonder they call it a giant redwood. Sarah, thanks very much for coming in. I hope you're keeping well. Plant a hazel and coppice every year. Um, do you know what you're saying there? That's been my plan for the last 5 or 6 years. I've been planning on doing a couple of hazels right at the bottom so we can get sticks, and planning on coppicing. Uh, or so so I'm on the same page. I just need to get around to doing it. Uh, Exactly. Assalamu alaikum. I'm ordering pizza. Which one should I get? Get a doner meat, or a Apna style chef special. That's always the one that we like. Infinity, the rural rider. Hope you're cool. Hope you're good. Thanks very much for coming in. Any joy with the seeds? Absolutely no. No. You sent me some naga seeds. I'm having trouble with my nagas this year. So far, I think I've got one plant that's sprouted out of everything. I don't know why, but I'm I'm a little bit upset this year with my nagas. Um, so just need to find a nice spot where it won't get spotted till it's too expensive to remove. Um, See, there's some small woods near me. Um, Now you could probably potentially plant it in the middle, but do you know you have these friends groups, right? And I've seen these friends groups go around and they've slashed a load of saplings over this week. So they've done a lot, they've slashed a load. But there's another tiny little woods next to me as well, and that's pretty much neglected. So in a couple of years, we could probably get that. Yeah, we could probably, um, if it gets too big in a couple of years, we'll probably get away with that. Um, Zakalik, Jazakallah, bro. I mean, uh, Salika wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. I hope you're keeping well. And again, dropping those flame hearts, subhanallah. Um, my local butcher now sells shawarma. I thought you're not supposed to mix, what do you call it? Um, Cooked and uncooked meat. If a, um, I'm gonna send you a message later on. You're gonna, Salika. I'll send you a message in a bit. You can have a look at that and see there's something big going on. Um, Getting greener. How are you doing? Thanks very much for coming in, Leighton. Our road to self-sufficiency. Oh, hope everyone's good. So, what's been going on with you all? Tell me what's happened this week. What are your plans for this weekend? Are you going to be in the garden? Are you going to be able to spend some time in the garden? Are you going to be able to get on with some work? Um, the thing is, we're looking like it's going to be a nice couple of days of weather. So today was okay. Yesterday was actually really warm, surprisingly. First, it was quite warm actually yesterday. Was okay. Tomorrow's going to be quite nice, and then Sunday is supposed to be pouring down with rain again. So I don't know, a couple of nice days and then back to rain. So if you can get it established or guarded, there's there's a little I mean we call There's about it's a scrap of land. It's about probably a couple of acres big. And it's got about 10 trees on it. So if you plant it on the edge there, normally it's pretty neglected by the council. They'll come round every now and then and they'll mow the grass. But apart from that, they don't really do anything. So if you mulch it and stake it, I think they'll pretty much leave it alone. Um, So, I watched it. Did you get the wood chip sorted? I've managed to clear most of the wood chip. I've probably got about 2 or 3 wheelbarrows left on the drive. So I've sifted it off. All the fine stuff has gone either onto my potato bed, into the chicken coop. Some I'm trying to put into a bag and compost. The rest of the big chunky stuff has gone onto my path. So now my paths are nice and raised up high. See, I did the same thing last year. Was it last year or the year before is when I decided I'm not going to have grass paths anymore. Because what happens is, especially down that end of the garden, because it's quite sloped down and we're on quite heavy clay, what happens is it just gets so wet, it either gets boggy and then it gets really slippery. And my mum nearly fell in the garden once. So I decided, right, that's it, the grass paths are going. And we're just going to put wood chip down. Um, I mean, otherwise, I preferred the grass paths, to be honest with you. I much preferred them. Uh, you're going to be hiding from your husband and your kids tomorrow. Why? Why are you going to be hiding? Um, so we got the wood chips down on the soil, but after 2 or 3 years of laying wood chip now, I've raised the path so high that my raised beds are no longer raised beds. They're pretty much flat to everything else. Um, so if it looks like it's supposed to be there, then let it be. Nectarines are blossoming, going to pick up a true guava. Awesome. Um, I think I've got a guava plant in the greenhouse that was brought back from Bangladesh. I won't say who brought it back, but yeah, there is one in the greenhouse. What's best to get started this time of year? Best veg to start this time of year. So things you can start now. You can salad greens, so lettuce, spinach, chard, absolutely fine now. I normally go for planting loads of tomatoes at this time of year. So loads and loads of tomatoes. All my tomatoes get planted at now. I know a lot of people will say they'll get a little bit leggy, but just plant them deeper. Plant them in less nutritious compost so they don't get too much energy into the plant. So do what you can to stunt them for a bit. Keep them indoors next to a warm window, not a warm, a bright window, and that'll give you plenty of time. Because tomatoes, by the end of April, you'll be able to get them into your greenhouse. Yeah, and all the suckers you can be able to plant. Because if you go for some early plantings of tomatoes, what you can do is just grow them for the suckers rather than grow them for the plant. So when the plant grows up, let it get leggy, let it put out loads of suckers. Just take those suckers and plant them, and then you've got an established plant straight away. Um, Cabbages are another good one. There's loads of stuff you can plant this month. There's a video from last year where I've done a good sowing guide on my YouTube channel, so do have a look at that. Let's see. Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. I love your content. Thinking about planting an olive tree. Would March be the best time in England? Depends on if it's a potted plant or not. Because remember, um, with potted plants, they're absolutely fine to plant most of the time of the year. Um, but if it's a bare rooted plant, it's time to plant it now because bare rooted plants want planting when the plant's dormant. But olives are almost like evergreens, aren't they? You're probably not going to get that bare rooted. Just be mindful of that. Um, As long as the ground's not frozen, you'll get away with it. Plant it in a sheltered position. They are desert plants, so they can tolerate a lot of heat, but they can also tolerate some cold. Because remember, where they grow, they still get snow sometimes on the odd occasion, but they do get very, very cold at night as well. So they are a little bit hardy, but just check the type of olive that you're going to get, because a lot of olives, especially in the north of England, they don't actually fruit, and but they are a great plant to have in the garden, and they are quite hardy. I've been given a bath and want to grow carrots in it. How would I deal with drainage issues, please? Um, See, the bath I grow in, the tap hole is good. Um, You could stick another couple of holes through it. I just used a hammer and cracked the plastic at the bottom of it, and put a few more holes in it. Um, but to be honest with you, I think the plug hole will be enough, because you're not going to soak the bath. Yeah, you're going to give it a good soaking, and it's gonna drain out of the plug hole quite a bit. If you put in one other hole or two, a couple of other holes, that's going to be plenty of drainage. Because the other thing that you've got to try and manage is, when it comes to summer and it's not raining for a while, they dry out really, really fast. So you want it to be free draining, but you want it to be holding on to moisture at the same time. So the thing that I did was I put in um, a few holes, and then I put in loads of cardboard. So I'll put in a good few layers of cardboard to cover the holes. So and then I put in wood chip over the top of that. Probably about 6 inches of wood chip, and then I filled it with compost and everything else. So in your case, if you're just going to use it for carrots, then you're going to be sharp sanding compost or some kind of mix of that. But your carrots and a bath's about almost 2 foot, so maybe 6 inches of stuff to hold on to moisture, and then fill it with the rest of your growing medium. I think that should be plenty of depth. Um, so Derek, I'm all right. Good luck with your peppers tomorrow. I'm very good, thank you. Thanks for asking. Um, have you ever had any lemons or limes fruit in Yorkshire? Um, we've got there are lemons and limes that will fruit in Yorkshire. I've not had any luck. We had a really, really nice lemon plant. I don't know if you for the Bangladeshis in the cloud will know what I'm talking about. It's a Jara lembu. So they grow to about this size, and this particular one was grown from seeds taken out of a lemon plant from my village in Bangladesh, and it's a plant that my uncle grew. Uh, and I grew it from seed. It was about 6 or 7 years old. So maybe a couple more years and it would have maybe started fruiting. Um, Not last year, the year before, when we had the really, really -5 type temperatures here. Uh, it survives okay in the greenhouse. For some reason, that year we didn't put it into the greenhouse. And yeah, the frost killed it, and that's probably that is absolutely heartbreaking. It's like 7 years of work, 6, 7 years of work just gone. Um, you have those things when you're gardening, though. Sometimes you talk about the plants that you've killed more than the things that you've had success growing. Um, so yeah, I'm trying to loads this weekend. Sowing compost heaps, bed to make, lawn to scarify and feed. Um, my lawn's just like a muddy field at the minute. It's really bad. So CJ, am I in the UK? Absolutely, I'm in Yorkshire. You don't have access to a greenhouse. Okay, use your windowsills. Use your windowsills as much as you can. Um, this time of the year, my wife really doesn't like what I do in the house because plants are everywhere. There's mess from the plants, but yeah, she puts up with it because she puts up with me. And then in a couple of months, the house is fine and but everything's outside. Um, but yeah, just a couple of months of stuff to be going on inside. Um, I keep trying and failing to germinate coriander seeds. How long should they take? Um, where are you getting your coriander seeds from? Uh, Normally they take about a week to 10 days to germinate. And are you doing the tea towel method that I talked about? Planting native trees in my food forest and raising muscovy ducks, so happily busy at the moment. What trees are you planting? Put my tomato plants in yesterday. It's been 25 Celsius. We've got a few tomato plants that are this big. I think they were the ones that Ali gave me. Ali sent me a load of tomato plants. And they're about sort of an inch and a half, 2 inches. And my mum wants to start potting them up. If they start getting potted up, then we're going to be fast filling the house up. Uh, if all these groundswellers were as green, you'd have no problems growing redwoods. Um, do it's really frustrating because they're making a big deal about building some new houses, right? And in Gipton, we've Harehill and Gipton is one of the most populated wards in Leeds. It's got like 28,000 residents. Um, but there's a few patches of green fields or left over from when they built the council estates. And for the last couple of years, I've been writing to the council saying, look, we want this land, we want to use it for growing, we want to use it for something. And they've just been fobbing me off, or ignoring me. And now all of a sudden they've started building on them. When I started getting people like Incredible Edibles and these kind of organisations involved, so they've started building on them, and they're making a big deal about how great they are. But we're already a really, tightly packed area, and the last bit of green space that we've got, you're just taking it away. It's hard. Why didn't they go and do that up in Shadwell, or one of the posh areas? Uh, That's my little rant over. So, whereabouts are you, Mimi? Mimi's in Florida. Baldy, how are you doing? Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Rob, long time no see. Hope you're keeping well, mate. Margaret, thank you very much for coming in. Nuruz Gul, walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Bobby, hope you're keeping well, big man. Thanks very much for coming in. Um, So when do I sow seeds and cucumber in a polytunnel? So both of those you can plant now, but plant them in your house, get them germinated, get them to a couple of inches tall, and when you start potting them up, then move them to a polytunnel when it gets a little bit warmer outside. So cucumbers can handle a little bit cooler, so probably 8 degrees on a night. 7 or 8 degrees on a night, both of them can handle that as long as you cover them and as long as it's warm during the day. Um, so yeah, um, damn kitchen roll. Maybe if I didn't give them long enough. So try it in a kitchen towel. And where are you? Which seeds are you getting? Um, my local RFI hospital has free Wi-Fi at last. What's RVI hospital? Um, what's RVI mean? CW. Hey up, how are you doing? Thanks very much for coming in. The man with the thumbs. And the four-leaf clover. Uh, Amsterdam, walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Cut down loads of bamboos in the backyard. Would cover an area with weed barrier, prevent them growing back. Planning to put raised beds in that area. The thing is, it's the type of bamboo you've got. Um, Now, most bamboos are really indestructible. They're really difficult to destroy. They're really indestructible. If you've got a running type, it's very invasive. So they can, they plant, they establish themselves through runners. They send out runners and put up a new plant somewhere else. So sadly, it's one of those one times that if you really want to eradicate bamboo, then glyphosate is probably your option. You know, what's it called? The brand name. It's most weed killers, but you do that by injecting it into the stem. But it's not. eh, The other option is to try and dig it up. You could dig it up and have a good time. You could dig it up and try and get down into the roots and pull all that out, but they can resprout. So potentially, I don't think weed barrier would stop it because bamboo will come up through cracks in concrete and come up through cracks in tarmac, depending on the variety. So I don't think weed barrier would stop it. Can you recite some Quran? Yes, I can, but not on this stream. Um, yeah. Um, Muscovoid ducks are good for cleaning slugs, snails, but they are very, very messy and stinky. And they look cool as well, though. You've got to give them that. They're one of the prettiest looking ducks. I love the funny redness on the beak or the top of the forehead. That looks awesome. And they're coming pretty. They're a good sized duck as well. Um, I'm planting trees and shrubs native to the harbour here for the birds and ecosystem. Skink colony. My God, skink colony. What's that? So I can't sow in the polytunnel right now. Not tomatoes and cucumbers. They need a bit of protection. Um, unless you got some heat in your polytunnel, I wouldn't advise it. Tony from Simplified Gardening joining us over on TikTok. Tony, how are you doing? Hope you're keeping well. Busy as always, I guess. Um, they don't approve planning on fields where MPs and leaders of council live. No, no. I mean, the thing is, these fields were pretty overgrown. They were messy. It's an old council estate that was abandoned, or was left to be abandoned. Um, and yeah, they've just so instead of handing it over to the community for community use, they've just stuck more houses on it. Which I understand we need houses, but we need some green space as well. All good in work. How long shift are you on tonight? Um, where to buy seeds? Any recommendations? I buy most of my seeds from a company called Premier Seeds Direct. They're on eBay, really cheap, good value for money, really good delivery. I think most allotmentiers, I can't even say the word now. Most growers use them. Most small scale growers use them. Um, Cheryl, I hope you're keeping well. Enjoyed your last video. It was very informative. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Um, so you're on 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. as long as I don't get a call out before 9, or could be a few more hours. You gonna get any sleep in that time? That's a long shift, man. That's a long, long shift. But Tony, if you don't know him, he's a fireman. So he's out there saving lives. I doubt it at the moment. Uh, have they got beds for you though? Um, yeah, his Royal Victoria Infirmary, it's got free Wi-Fi, but shocked because no Northeast Hospital charges. Um, yeah, running bamboos are a nightmare to get rid of. So yeah, you just have to be very careful with that one. I have got at the bottom of my garden. I have got a clumping bamboo planted into the ground. I keep that under relative control. What I tend to do is right on the border of the fence. But it's there to keep the soil intact. Because what the guy at the bottom of the garden's done, the house at the bottom. So my garden is, we're on a hill, right? So we're on a hill like that. And then what he's done is right on my fence, exactly on my fence line, he's cut away all the soil. So about 3, maybe 4 foot of soil he's cut away, and he's to make his garden level. So he's cut the soil away, made his garden level, uh, and the concrete from my fence posts, that's all exposed on his side. So any day now, we're gonna get a little bit of landslide, and that my garden's gonna end up in his. What he wanted me to do was he wanted me to pay for a wall for him, to stop my garden from sliding into his, which is a bit annoying because he shouldn't have just cut the soil away. So what I've done is I've planted some deep. I mean, the good thing is I've got trees planted on that along that fence line. I've got all my fruit trees down there, and where I haven't, I've got a big chunky buddleia, and I've got this bamboo plant. Um, so ideally, it'd be good to have some more deep-rooted plants to hold that soil in place, so um, they don't just disappear. My garden doesn't disappear into his. There are beds, and we get a few hours if we don't have any shouts. Um, yeah, hard work, mate. Hard work. Um, where are we going? What's a skink? I'm thinking, what is a skink? Um, Stallion fish keeping. Some advice. What are you after, mate? I've put some bell peppers indoors under some purple grow light 14 days ago, sprouting. Should I ditch the seeds? No sprouting. Is the soil warm enough? Because get the soil to about 20 degrees Celsius. If you haven't got a thermometer, just use some kind of glass thermometer to check the soil temperature. But more important than grow lights is the heat bed, and depending on peppers, they can take a bit longer. Some peppers can take quite a while. I'm having some poor results with my naga this year. So with my naga, I'm having some really bad results. I've cocked up with the seeds, and now one of the guys from YouTube sent me some seeds, and I've only got one plant managed to germinate. So I'm in a bit of a I'm quite upset about that. Um, So the most important thing for your peppers is the soil temperature, not necessarily the lights. Um, does witch hazel grow massive? Would love to have some in my garden, but UK will grow massive. I don't know about this witch hazel. Don't want a giant redwood in my white garden. Ben, have you planted any of those giant redwoods anywhere? Jimmy K, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Hope you're keeping well. Am I from Birmingham? No, I'm from Yorkshire. I don't sound like I'm from Birmingham, do I? um, Billy says from Bradistan. No, I'm not from Bradistan. But typical. No, I'm not from there either. Uh, from Jimmy, from just seeing around or from videos and stuff. No, I'm not from Bradford either. So just because you've seen a brown face doesn't mean it's from Bradford. Keep going, mate. Another world looks like you in Birmingham. Okay, okay, yeah. Um, so So I don't know which hazel. The wood chip they put in is wonderful for the garden. The water also valuable space for them. Uh, it's a lizard. Okay, a skink is a lizard. I'm gonna Google a skink. Um, Premier Seeds are also on Amazon. So if you want to have a look on there, whoever was asking earlier, Premier Seeds is okay, but I bought aubergine seed and only one germinated. I told them they're saying they tested it and it 100%. They don't want to know. Um, what's your soil temperature like when you're planting your aubergine? You can grow witch hazel in a large pot. Okay. What do you do with witch hazel? I've only got seedlings for now. I'm on Top Chat, so I might be missing some comments actually. I should be on live chat. There we go. Let's see that. So I've only got seedlings for now. Barely an inch tall. Where'd you get your seeds from, Ben? Uh, Mutton is from Inverness, Scotland, far away from Inverness would be a bit cold for me, you know. I don't do well in the cold. um, there was, I came across a article about a place in Scotland. I don't know if it was somewhere around Aberdeen, but because of something about the way it's positioned, even though it's really far north, it's really warm. It's got some kind of weird microclimate that keeps it a lot warmer than everywhere else. Um, there's a Scottish town that just gets this amazing little microclimate. Um, I need to find that thing. Find that I could do well maybe there. Mm. Um, I was considering that local small garden centre is stocking it, so I might go for it. Um, so a skink is a snake with legs. Okay, that's interesting. We'll have to Google one of them and see what they look like. Do you ever post on what plants, vegetables is good to grow next to each other for square foot gardening? Um, see, I've got a video on companion planting, and I've got a video on sort of. I did a video on the explanation between companion planting and what's the other word called? Gone. Um, Successional sowing and those kind of things. So I did a video on that. You'll find that's from the year before last. Maybe I should do an update on that. Um, but with I don't do square foot gardening as such. What I tend to do is um, I grow really intensely, so a lot more intense than square foot gardening. So I grow plants so I grow plants really close together, and then I'll grow plants up over the other plants, and I'll grow plants things that'll either benefit the other plant or things that'll grow in different spaces. So I'll grow, like if you grow in a root plant like a radish or something, yeah, you let that grow, but then you grow a tall plant next to it, like excuse me, like beans or something. Or if you're growing onions, which are really narrow and thin, then you grow something. You can plant them in amongst anything pretty much, because they're going to grow narrow and thin and grow tall, while everything else is going to spread out a little bit more. Um, so yeah, I did a video about that in quite a bit of detail. So there is that video, but I don't do square foot gardening as such. Um, Three the guys, walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Make dua, brother. Make dua, inshallah. Which hazel just smells nice in winter. Okay. It'd be nice to have something like that uh, in front of the house. Um, so tomato, Tom's hot pepper, sweet pepper, all 100% cling film tops and next to the one right except aubergine. Okay. Um, aubergine and chilies do take a bit of time. Try soaking them in tea. That might give them a bit of stimulation to get them growing a bit longer, growing a bit quicker. Um, so aubergines, chilies, tomatoes, they're all the same family. With seeds like chilies and chilies especially, they're quite hard to germinate. What I tend to do is I soak them in, uh, uh, I soak them in tea. There is a video on that. I've done that a couple of videos on that. Um, so I live in northwest UK and we get vicious winds from the west. I like to create an effect. Maybe natural barrier, wood growing willow be a good idea. Okay, so wind barriers, right? Okay, so I've got your same problem because I'm at the top of a hill. So we are sort of southwest facing. I think it's southwest or south, yeah, southwest facing. So we get some quite nasty winds and they're rolling up, and we're at the top of a hill, so it's rolling up. Now, when you have wind, right, and you've got a solid wall, the wind will hit the solid wall, go up, and then it'll come down with a lot more force on the other side. So it'll go up and then it'll crash down just like a wave. But if you've got, instead of a solid wall, you've got more of a something that can disperse your wind, then what you're going to be doing is you're going to be filtering the wind a little bit more. Okay. So willow's good. It'll be good for filtering it. But if it gets quite thick, then the issue you might have is that it creates a solid wall effect. Whereas if you keep it quite thin and spread out, it's going to create a more of a filtering effect. That filtering effect will slow it down. I mean, it's never going to, unless you've got a massive, massive hedgerow of them, a few feet thick, you're never going to get the full protection. It's always going to be quite windy, but it'll slow that wind down. For at the bottom of my garden, what I've got is apple trees. So I've got apple trees, fruit trees, the bamboo, the buddleia, um, and I've let them grow quite big, so I haven't grown them and pruned them into a shape where they're good for harvesting. I've grown them to act as a protection from my neighbours watching over into my garden, to act as a bit of a wind barrier, to act as act in a few different ways, as well as giving me fruit. Um, and then you know, particularly exposed areas we'll do is we'll plant smaller, sort of sturdier plants. So you might plant a row of peas or a row of broad beans, and that helps lift the wind over your next set of plants. So it's not massively high, but it's just a little bump that'll help lift the plants, and then you can plant your tenderer plants right there, and that'll give it a little bit of wind protection. Because wind damage is one of the biggest damages. Do you know, it's one of the biggest problems in the garden. Um, I hope that gives you some ideas. Short answer, eBay for redwood seeds might have been a okay. See, okay. Um, I've just used Just Seed before, and they were pretty good. Well, Pinquino chilies in the seedlings are doing all right. Oh, see, Bobby, I'm having some issues with my naga actually this year. Um, as it keeps going back to the beginning third time now. Oh, Cheryl, I'm sorry about that. I don't know why it's doing that. You take care. Thanks for coming in. Going back to the beginning. I don't know. I've never heard of that before. Um, Witch hazel has medicinal properties, but I want to grow it for once for winter interest because it flowers on the bare branches. I might have to. Uh, I might have to look at a witch hazel. Be nice to have some winter interest. D Haskins, take care. You sound tired. I am very tired. I've had a couple of extremely stressful days. I was going to talk about it, but I don't know if it's the best idea, so I've kept stum. So I am quite, yeah, I'm quite stressed at the minute. Budget seed is cheap. Where's budget seed? Are they on eBay as well? Um, who's Wendy? Grant McIntosh. Grant, how are you doing, big man? Hope you're keeping well. Hope life's treating you good and your family's all good as well. So, Grant's from the US. He's one of my earliest friends from YouTube. Um, Hope everything's good with you, mate. I've seen you out hunting again. Um, what about elderberry for a wall? Elderberry's a good walling plant. Um, Part of the hedge at the bottom. I mean, the thing about elderberry, I hate the smell of the flowers. I know a lot of people like it, and the smell of the berries and stuff. It honestly just that's one plant. It really, really, I really can't stand the smell of it, and the smell of the berries as well. I don't know why. There's just something about that plant that just d- doesn't agree with me. Um, but there's one at the bottom of the garden. It's sort of right on. I don't. I think it's my neighbour's plant, but it borders onto our garden, so it's a good plant. Um, what's that plant with yellow flowers? It flowers on bare branches as well. It's like a Lavernium or something like that. Library. I can't remember what it's called, but that's a good hedging plant. It's a good, pretty one as well, and it flowers quite early when nothing else is growing. Um, Bobby, I'm having so much trouble every year. I have really great results with my Naga. This year I've got the heated propagators on. First of all, I had the stupid mistake of burning all my seeds. And then now yeah, so that was the first mistake, and now I just can't get them to germinate. I just don't know what I'm doing wrong this year. So I'm not having a great year this year. Witch hazel petals look like lemon peel and smell sweet. Oh, this sounds like an amazing plant. I have a 2-year-old witch hazel already blooming for winter. It's like 2 foot tall twig. Was very happy to see it. That sounds. Do you know what? Do you know what? You guys have convinced me on this witch hazel thing. Um, it's a plant that. So I've got two things to Google. I've got a skink to Google and a witch hazel to Google. Um, I had to cover lettuces. Winter is coming back for a few days. It seems to be getting warm for us, Grant. Yesterday was really warm. Today was okay. Tomorrow's going to be okay, and then Sunday we're going to get rain again. So I hope that winter doesn't pass on to us because it tends to do that. You get it first, then it comes to us. Um, do you just do guerrilla gardening and sow redwood seeds everywhere? um, so D Haskins in North America, service berry is absolutely amazing, delicious. Service berry, laburnum. There you go, laburnum. Um, what was I calling it? A librarium. Yeah, you plant a librarium and you get some books as well. uh, Forsyth, yeah, it might be a Forsyth. Hang on, I'll Google which one I'm talking about. But they make a quite good hedging plant, and it's good because they're flowering when there's nothing else about generally. Um, See, Margaret, I completely agree with that. I think for allotment type gardeners, they've just captured the market. There's another one that's quite good as well, similar price, similar service. It's called CK Horticulture. That's always been very good to me as well. Um, so the comments on TikTok are frozen. I don't know if everyone's still there or not. Um, I'm, I'm hoping it doesn't rain too much on Sunday. I know it's supposed to rain. I hope it something happens and the rain doesn't come down. So I need some time in my garden. I need to go and uh, what's the word? Ground myself, literally ground myself. Go and touch some of that soil and get my hands in the muck a little bit. Um, this week's been, yeah, these last couple of days have been horrible. Um, okay. Um, before I go, there's one person I want to give a massive shout out to. So she don't want me to mention her name, but you know who you are. She made a very generous donation for the campaigning work that I'm doing. I really appreciate it, and thank you very much. Yeah, yeah, thank you. I'm gonna leave it here. Someone mentioned that I'm a bit tired, and yeah, I will see you again next week, guys. Okay. Thanks everyone for coming in and spending a bit of time with me. It's been good. I really appreciate it. So thanks very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.